What is going on, my peeps? Your boy Versatile is back with another video, back talking to you guys about a very good matchup here in the OnePlus 7 Pro versus the Google Pixel 4 XL. Now, these two kind of go against each other in many different ways because of the features that they have. And so one of the main features that they have that are very similar is size. Now, of course, the OnePlus 7 Pro is slightly bigger at 6.67 inches, whereas the Pixel 4 XL comes in at 6.3 inches. And as you guys can see there, you can tell you can see the height difference. And so, you know, in terms of pocketability, in terms of hand holding, I do prefer holding the Pixel 4 XL a little more than the OnePlus 7 Pro, despite loving the OnePlus 7 Pro a lot. Just using either one, I'm going to prefer the Pixel 4 XL myself, and that's because it's slightly, slimmer, and of course it's shorter, and the flat display. And so when we think about flat displays, oh man, I don't have my finger registered on that one. So when we think about flat displays, or the displays, I should say, one's flat, one's got curved edges. And of course, OnePlus 7 Pro has curved edges, very Samsung-y, but that's okay because it's still nice. It gives it that nice premium look, and you can't be mad at it. Now, what else about the physical structure? The OnePlus 7 Pro is made out of all glass, of course, metal framing, and it looks nice. This is the mirror gray finish. Looks very nice, looks very clean, looks very professional. But what Google did a little differently, which I think we all appreciated, those who have tried it out, is the matte finish on their glass. And so you get matte white, matte orange, or glossy black. But what they also did was matted out the framing as well. So you just get that much more grip, even more so, to add on to what I previously said about usability in the hand. And so the OnePlus 7 Pro, despite it looking very much more premium and looking very nice, there's nothing more nice than the premium subtlety that you get with the Pixel 4 XL and being able to hold the phone and not being worried about the phone slipping out of your hand. Now, what else do they share? The 90 Hertz display. So both of these phones have 90 Hertz on them. And if they've stopped timing out on me here, they both have 90 Hertz, but they also both display 90 Hertz in a different way. As you guys can kind of tell here, if I was to crank up the brightness, if it's not already, this phone gets relatively bright. And although this phone appears to be bright, if I was to crank it up all the way, you can tell that there's just the OnePlus 7 Pro looks to be a little brighter. Significantly so, I guess you could say, in person, but it is brighter. Now, why is that? Well, one, I think it's the direction that OnePlus wanted to go in terms of wanting a brighter, nit display, how the peak brightness for the display. But they also utilize 90 Hertz differently. And so the Google Pixel 4 XL utilizes 90 Hertz with what's called pulse width modulation. And that's in part as to the reason why the display has such a lower brightness, or in lower brightness settings, 90 Hertz does not display 90 Hertz at lower brightness levels. And that's because of anti-flicker. And so with the Google Pixel 4, pulse width modulation, or PWM tech, allows for it to basically avoid flicker or take out flicker in between each refresh rate. And so that's why it also drops down to 60 to control that, to modulate the screen refreshing. And so the reason why that's important is because our eyes do not like flicker. It can cause headaches, strains, and it can be overall bad health concern. And so Google, being very health conscious with a lot of the decisions recently with phones, with digital well-being and whatnot, of course is most certainly going to add into their display tech. And so of course they say they're going to send out an update in the coming weeks in regards to the 90 Hertz display. You can also force it on, but when you force it on, you don't really notice it at low brightness levels. I haven't noticed anyway. It seems like it works just fine. And of course, battery drain with either device when it comes to 90 Hertz, but I haven't really noticed it too much because I make it through the day with either device with no issues. But that will be talked on later. Now, the reason why the 90 hertz display is different on the OnePlus 7 Pro is because it utilizes two forms of anti-flicker technology, and that is PWM, just like the Pixel 4 in the pulse width modulation. It also utilizes DC dimming, and DC dimming, I think OnePlus actually also utilizes it in two different ways. So they already do it themselves, and what DC dimming does is basically it undervolts the screen, so that way it also cuts on flicker. So even at low brightness levels, it can still maintain 90 hertz and not cause flicker. And then you can also, with the unlocked models, add further DC dimming with the feature within the utilities settings within your settings. So, but the disadvantage to DC dimming is you get slight color accuracy shift at low brightness levels, and so we may not see it too much with our human eyes, but with spectrum or spectrometers and calibration tools and whatnot, you can see color shift with DC dimming. That's because of the voltage not powering through the device. Low brightness changes that. So the downside with DC dimming is at low brightness you could get slightly color inaccuracy or color shift, and the downside to strictly PWM is you get lower brightness with the display. And so it's not like either one of them is bad. It's just something that, I mean, I guess you really don't really have to keep in mind, but the fact is they just operate slightly different. Now, what I noticed, especially after today, in terms of these devices, is the OnePlus 7 Pro does not utilize 90 hertz all the time, and specifically in gaming. I wish they had the forced 90 hertz in the developer options for the OnePlus 7 Pro, but when I'm playing Marvel Contest of Champions on the OnePlus 7 Pro, it worked fine. Fnatic mode is fun and all that type of stuff, but you don't utilize 90 hertz playing the game. When I played Marvel Contest of Champions on this phone, and because I do have 90 hertz turned on, I immediately saw the difference playing Marvel Contest of Champions on the Pixel 4. It felt so much more fluid and fast, and it's scary because it threw me off. I actually almost lost one of my battles in that game because it just threw me off. And so to those who say they don't notice 90 hertz, you notice 90 hertz. It just depends on what you're really trying to do. So in terms of displays, they both have 90 hertz. They both operate it slightly different, and that's where, and you'll see that most in the display, especially when it comes to lower brightness settings. Now, aside from that, what does the OnePlus 7 Pro have that the Google Pixel 4 XL, or the Pixel 4 series rather, doesn't? Well, this has three cameras. It has the main wide shooter, it has an ultra wide, and it has a telephoto. And they're pretty good. OnePlus has had to send some updates out to them, of course, and make them, what they talked about on stage. But, with any piece of tech, nothing is going to always be ready out the door. That's just with tech, especially with phones. And so you get three cameras with the OnePlus, and they're pretty nice. And what else do you get? You get a pop-up camera for the front for your front-facing camera. Bow. Hey, how y'all doing? Hey, how y'all doing? And so, and it's fun. That's kind of cool tech. Some people, are eerie or reary about the motor inside the phone for the front pop-up camera. But, to each his own. I find it just fine. It hasn't given me any issues. It does have like awareness to slot back in if it feels like it got dropped or it's going to crash into something, The Pixel 4 XL has two cameras. It has its main wide, and it has a telephoto, and a very good telephoto. And it also utilizes super res zoom. So when you do zoom in, it does sharpen up. It does still maintain pretty decent clarity when you zoom in, whether it's with the 2x telephoto camera module or you zoom in at 8x, and you can still see some pretty good clarity within those photos. So and then you get your front facing, of course, and it looks clean, it looks fine. So those are some of the similarities and differences. Now, Android 10 has, dropped on a lot of people's OnePlus 7 Pros. The T-Mobile variant, as of this video, has not received it yet, but it will be. And Android 10 is already freshly installed on the Pixel 4 XL. Now, what's one of the biggest, I won't say the biggest differences, but what's one difference that people kind of pointed to when it came to as a fault for the Pixel 4 XL until they got it and realized battery life was fine. The OnePlus 7 Pro utilizes a 4,000 milliamp battery, whereas the Pixel 4 XL utilizes a 3,700 milliamp battery. So just about I guess you could call it like a, what's that, 3 to 5% difference? I can't do math right now, it's late. But you get good battery life either way. I've been able to get 6-7 hours screen on time with both devices regardless. This device is smaller, therefore not needing a big battery like that, is sufficient. Is a difference between a necessity and a want. And when battery optimization paired with software optimization is well done, then the size of the battery in terms of the milliamps or the number does not matter as much. Now, I would love to stick up for the Pixel 4, the smaller brethren of the Pixel 4 XL, but I haven't used it, and there has been a mixed bag of reviews for the Pixel 4. But in terms of the Pixel 4 XL and the OnePlus 7 Pro, great battery life on both devices. Now, back to the aesthetics. The OnePlus 7 Pro gives you an alert slider that's fun to play with, very addictive. Go back and forth. Power button on this side, volume rocker on this side. And usability is fine. Never got in the way of using the device. Whereas the Pixel has all of its buttons on the right side here. And as you see, you get this beautiful orange peachy color power button and the volume rocker right below it. In terms of the speaker setup, they're both set up relatively similar. You got a wider speaker up here, and I believe they're both set up as stereo. And then you get a firing speaker right here, as you guys see, and it's USB-C. And along with the Pixel 4, you likewise get a speaker up top, and then you get your stereo speakers, and they're both very nice and loud. They both project very good sound for stereo speakers on smartphones, and given the size, they should. So that's not an issue there. Now, what features does the Pixel 4 XL have that the OnePlus 7 Pro doesn't? Well, in terms of air gestures, that's what the Pixel 4 has. It has air gestures where you can, I've demonstrated it before, and I probably won't in this video. You guys want to see my motion sense video, I did drop it. You can wave backwards and front. If anything, what I could do is find a wallpaper to kind of show you guys. So if I do this, you guys can see the wallpaper kind of move with my hand. You guys kind of see the wallpaper moving. Well, that's the advantage you get with air gestures. You can snooze alarms, change your song tracks, dismiss sounds for phone calls, and more features should be coming to that soon. What you also get with this is face unlock. You get a much better face unlock than you do with this because of the tech that they put inside the bezel towards the top. You get very good face unlock. Yeah, you may not, well, as of this video anyway, you don't have like attention aware for your eyes, basically, or eye detection for face unlock. So you're getting that much faster looking at it, this and the third. Some people try to say, well, what if you're sleeping and all this type of stuff, but if you're sleeping, they can use your fingerprint to log into your phone too. So it's not a security concern. All biometrics are our convenience for us with our smartphones. And if they're on our person, like if they're on us, we're not going to have any issues with security. Now, what does the OnePlus 7 Pro have? It has very good gesture navigation when the screen is off. So like if I do a V, let's see if it still works here. If I do a V, you guys see the flashlight cut on. And if I do a V again, the flashlight is off. So it kind of trying to figure out where it's on here. If I do a C, usually the camera will cut on. There we go, I think. Oh, well, I guess it doesn't want to now. But yeah, the point is you got off-screen gestures, and the gesture navigation system is good on here. See, it's open now. The gesture navigation system is good on here. It's very Apple-esque. I like using it. It's very clean and nice. So I have no issues with the gesture navigation system on the OnePlus 7 Pro, and I'm sure it probably got a little better with Android 10. Whereas with the Google Pixel 4 XL, Android 10 has introduced gesture navigations, which gives you faster Google Assistant features with the Pixel 4 XL as well. So hold up, you got it right there. You swipe through, boom, wow. If you want to go back to your last app, just swipe through, boom. What's going on, Chris Perillo? So Very good similarities between the phones. You get near pure experience on both of these. That's why I like both of these phones so much. These would be like my hands down favorite phones of the year. I will give props to the iPhone, of course, but in terms of like Android experience, I definitely want to say the Pixel 4 and the OnePlus 7 Pro come up there in the top 1 and 2 position. So this is my comparison video between the OnePlus 7 Pro and the Google Pixel 4 XL. Price as of this video, the 7 Pro is $750. It might, well, $700 and $750. It might have dropped to $700. You get 8 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of storage. Whereas with the Google Pixel 4 XL starting at $900 and for the 64 gig and 128 gigabyte for the 128 gig, or $1,000 for the 128 gig. I don't know what I just said. I find storage will be fine either way. This is the 64 gig model that I got. For some reason, T-Mobile decided to do us wrong and only present us with one option. But for me, I haven't used up all my 64 gigs yet. Yeah, I have about like 30 gigs left, but that's fine because I clear out a lot of pictures often. And the only thing I really keep on here is like wallpapers. And so for someone who doesn't really use my phone for a lot of media outside of editing thumbnails and stuff like that for YouTube videos and stuff like that, I'm not going to really suck up that much space. That being said, it was nice having 256 gigs of storage with the OnePlus 7 Pro because it's just like it is a nice refresh, like a nice, breather, not worrying about space per se. But I don't even think about it with this phone either, so it's kind of hard to make that statement when I don't think about that with either device. Of course, you're going to get a bargain in terms of $750 for OnePlus, but you're not going to get as good camera quality as you would with the Pixel 4 XL. You still get good camera quality, but you get superior camera quality with the Pixel 4 XL. The other difference that I forgot to mention, wireless charging, 11 watt wireless charging for the Pixel 4 XL. Non-existent on the OnePlus 7 Pro. For me, I don't find that as a big deal because I know when OnePlus does implement wireless charging, it's going to blow us away just like their wired charging does. And so that's going to be interesting. Now, this is the 20 watt, I believe, or 30 watt charging, not the 30T. This is a regular 30 watt, and then this is 18 watt. So those are some more subtle differences that you'll find. But charging takes about an hour and 15 to charge this from like 15-20%, and then or about 10%, and then this takes about an hour. Regardless, it seems like from where you at, it charges up so quick. So definitely solid devices either way. They both last through your primary part of the day with no issues. Very good, well-rounded devices. The price probably will come down on this, of course, soon. When this launched, it was already doing like $100 gift cards or $100 off, depending on where you bought it. So the Pixel 4 XL, very, very solid device. It's been fun. I haven't really looked back at my OnePlus 7 Pro too much. I've just really liked Google's take or Google's integration with their Pixel devices, and I like the matte finish and feel, and it looks clean. It looks very, very clean, minimal, and fresh. Not to say that the OnePlus doesn't either, because as you guys see here with fingerprints and all, like this mirror gray is astounding, and the blue looks just as good as well. So there's subtle differences. Then there's differences that you should talk about when it comes to these devices, but you're not going to go wrong with either one. But I thought I'd bring that to you real quick. The Pixel 4 XL versus the OnePlus 7 Pro. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys think about either device. They're both solid to me. Let me know down in the comments below. But your boy Versatile is signing out, and until the next video. Wait for